Tragic history, as 2021 is now the deadliest year ever for trans community. With nearly 2 months left, 2021 has shattered the record of transgender homicides in a year, with 45 to date, most of them Black or Latinx, according to the Human Rights Campaign. Last year held the previous record with 44 trans murders. Marquiisha Lawrence, a 28-year-old Black transgender woman in South Carolina, was killed on November 4th. In a statement, Tori Cooper, Director of Community Engagement for the Transgender Justice Initiative for HRC, called Lawrence's death a tragic milestone for her and for a community that deeply loved her. David Johns, Executive Director of the National Black Justice Coalition, said that providing financial support for Black trans women and decriminalizing sex work, which many trans women must turn to when denied other forms of employment, is an important part of addressing the underlying inequalities that leave trans women of color vulnerable to violence. Lawrence's death comes as transgender communities across the world prepare to honor transgender homicide victims on Transgender Day of Remembrance, an annual vigil on November 20th for those slain living their truths. The somber event often includes a reading of the names of the dead, a list that has grown longer in recent years as anti-transgender violence has spiked due to discrimination that advocates say has been fueled by anti-trans political climate.
And I just want to also pay homage to the other people who aren't mentioned in this, who are the huge number of trans individuals who die by suicide every year because of that climate as well. And that's not even a tracked number, because so many people are dead named and stuff in their death, which leads them to this suicide. It is a terrible thing that our community needs to open their eyes to and face. I'm very happy that Pride Fort Lauderdale is making Transgender Day of Remembrance a focus on Saturday. They are stopping the celebrations for a moment of silence and to honor these people who are our family, and we're losing them way too frequently and way too early.
And it's an issue that we bring up regularly on this show. Are the LGBTQ doing enough for the T? And that's a question that needs to be answered.
You know, a couple of observations I have. First off, we repeat it in every opportunity that we have. Trans rights are human rights. It's a simple statement, but it is an absolute bullseye of what we should think about in the trans community. I point out, you should go back and watch the interview that this show, Queer News Tonight, did with Tori Cooper just 2 weeks ago, and does amazing work for the HRC in the Transgender Project, working for the White House in the HIV first trans woman of color ever to be appointed at the White House. And tonight, at the end of the show, we're also going to bring an interesting interview with the new transgender director at Equality Florida. We have never had greater need for our trans community than we have at this moment. And the one thing that you can do, even if you do not understand trans, is to support our community is by supporting Equality Florida and supporting the HRC. Your donation or your volunteerism to those organizations are standing up for people that are literally being killed in our community. LGBTQ+ news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ+